In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Thus the heavens and the earth and all the host of them were finished. And then the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. God created man and woman in his likeness. Then God looked upon all he had done and saw that it was good.
When I was naming the animals God put here for us, I must have missed you. I'm Chris.
And I'm Joy.
And I'm...
No, wait. I will come up with something. You are,
I'll give you a hint. I'm Gizmo.
Gizmo. That is perfect.
Gizmo it is.
Yes, it is.
Now what's your... Okay, we're lunch.
Why didn't it eat us?
Why would it?
'Cause that's what wild animals do? Not here in Eden.
God has filled this place with many wonders. Come, let us show you. And from here, you can see Eden's 4 great rivers.
Ah, yes. The Tigris, the Euphrates, Pishon, and Gihon.
How did you know their names?
Lucky guess?
Oh, you who created the majesty of this universe.
And from here, you can see Eden's 4 great rivers.
Ah, yes. The Tigris, the Euphrates, Pishon, and Gihon.
How did you know their names?
Lucky guess?
Oh, you.
That would be a lush paradise in an area of the world that today is a vast desert. And yet, God is able to plant a garden that is even watered by a mist that comes up from the ground, so it mentions the lack of need for rain. Even stranger is the author tells us a river flows out of Eden and splits into 4 other rivers. 2 of them are known, the Tigris and the Euphrates.
The Bible. Some of the greatest stories of the Bible are set around rivers of the Mideast.
First class on lessons from the rivers of the Bible. And I think creation is a great place to begin. So we start today with a lesson It was also in the midst of the garden and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it parted and became 4 riverheads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one which skirts the whole land of Aphelah. Those 2 possible locations of the Garden of Eden, although the majority opinion would favor a site. It was in the Fertile Crescent, or what is known as the cradle of civilization in Mesopotamia, literally between 2 rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. The Tigris is mentioned in Genesis by its Hebrew name, the Hiddekel, as it also is in Daniel 10, verse 4, where it is translated Tigris in the New King James Version. The Euphrates River is well known, being mentioned by name 18 times in the Old Testament. And I believe with confidence I can say that the Garden of Eden was located between the Tigris and Euphrates River in what is known as Mesopotamia, the Greek name for this region. The upper portion of Mesopotamia is also known in some of the newer translations by its transliterated name of Aram Naharaim. Literally, of Eden was located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what we call Mesopotamia. The Garden of Eden, where the Lord God placed the first man and then created woman from one of the man's ribs, was indeed paradise in its fullest sense. The serpent, that father of all lies, of the Garden of Eden may be forever lost on earth, but the land between the two rivers, Mesopotamia, continued to be part of that hope after the fall of man. And it will continue to play a role in redemptive history until at least the end of Babylonian captivity, so stay tuned.
Researchers have claimed they have discovered the biblical Garden of Eden site beneath a World Heritage Site in Iraq. Christian archaeologists who have been searching for the site for many years and now may have found where it once stood. Experts believe that the Awar marshes, regarded as one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world, into four major rivers, including the Euphrates. This has led many, including Bible scholars, to conclude that the Garden of Eden was somewhere in the Middle Eastern area known today as the Tigris-Euphrates River Valley.
The Tigris River was believed to have been one of the four rivers to have flown from the Garden of Eden. The fast-flowing river, along with its slower sister river, the Euphrates, flows from the mountains of Turkey down to Iraq. In the book of Genesis, the prophet Daniel was said to have received his visions on its banks. Today, despite
Sumeria. According to mainstream scholars, this is the birthplace of civilization as we know it, the birthplace of religion, the first science, the first war, and the first written word. Now all that is left is a message buried beneath the sand.
It's one of Iraq's most famous archaeological sites, rising from the desert near Nasiriyah in the southeast, the Ziggurat of Ur, a massive 4,000-year-old temple pyramid, and the surrounding ruins of an ancient Sumerian city.
Archaeologists and scholars have been piecing evidence together for centuries in this area of the world, hoping to prove the biblical stories of the Garden of Eden. Most search for the location of the Garden of Eden, the proverbial beginning.
There's been a fixation amongst biblical scholars, early archaeologists, that everything in the Middle East began on the Euphrates and the Tigris, down in what is today Lower Iraq. And that this is where the Garden of Eden was. This was where everything emerged, good and bad, in the sort of Genesis tradition.
In 1922, English archaeologists...
Garden of Eden of the Gods was located based on my translation of the text.
The Garden of Eden was where the four rivers emerged from, two of which are easily identified as the Euphrates and the Tigris, which do indeed obviously flow through modern Iraq and empty out into the Arabian Sea. But they
Plunging under the olive green surface of the ancient Tigris River, worshippers from an obscure sect emerge spurting water from their mouths. A weekly dip in the Tigris to purify their souls. To members of the Sabia Mandaean nation, the river's contents are of little concern. In biblical times, the Tigris River was believed to have been one of the 4 rivers to have flown from the Garden of Eden. The fast-flowing river, along with its slower sister river, the Euphrates, flows from the mountains of Turkey down to Iraq. In the book of Genesis, the prophet Daniel was said to have received his visions on its banks. Today, despite the hardships of tyranny and war,
Furthermore, a closer examination of Genesis 2 reveals that the topography in and around Eden was different than today. 4 rivers had once come out of Eden. Today, however, only 2 major rivers, the Euphrates and Tigris, cut through Iraq. Also, one of the 4 rivers, Gihon, is described in Genesis 2:13, to compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia.
أصدر الفاتيكان ميدالية تضم مجموعة من معالم العراق ورموزا عراقية، من بينها الأهوار والنخل ونهري دجلة والفرات، بالإضافة إلى رسم يشير إلى النبي إبراهيم وهو يغادر مدينة أور الكلدانية الأثرية التي ولد فيها وفقا للروايات التاريخية. ويصدر الفاتيكان هذه الميدالية التي يقدمها البابا إلى بعض البلدان التي يزورها، وتعتبر رسالة يفصح عن مضمونها بابا الفاتيكان عند زيارته البلد أو المنطقة المعنية.
Excavation down by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, both the Euphrates River and the Tigris River. river used to flood, bringing lots of fertile mud. But the problem was that water washed away the crops. Stems and levees made it stop. When it was dry, they'd irrigate. Fighting over water led to war between the city-states. Uniform is ancient writing that tells us Sumer city-states were all by the gods. Oh, chosen by the gods. Oh! By the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates.
Euphrates River. Hey, I got a new lesson for you about ancient Mesopotamia. The Euphrates River and the Tigris River form the cradle of civilization.
Akkadians long ago conquered Sumer, took control. Sargon led his armies in their chariots. They roll by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates. Euphrates River. By the Persian Gulfs where they found ancient ruins underground. Archaeologists did lots of excavation down by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, both the Euphrates River and the Tigris River used to flood, bringing lots of fertile mud. But the problem was that water washed away the crops. Dams and levees made it stop. When it was dry they'd irrigate. Fighting over water led to war between the city-states. Uniform is ancient writing that tells us Sumer city-states were always fighting. They were the first civilization in Mesopotamia. Then came the Akkadians who started empire mania. Akkadians long ago conquered Sumer, took control. Sargon led his armies in their chariots. They rode by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the
Euphrates River. Hey, I got a new lesson for you about ancient Mesopotamia. Euphrates River, the Tigris River, formed the cradle of civilization.
Akkadians long ago conquered Sumer, took control. Sargon led his armies in their chariots. They rolled by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. And the Persian Gulfs where they found ancient ruins underground. Archaeologists did lots of excavation down by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. And the Tigris River used to flood, bringing lots of fertile mud. But the problem was that water washed away the crops. Dams and levees made it stop. When it was dry, they'd irrigate. Fighting over water led to war between the city-states. Uniform is ancient writing. It tells
was a super city-states were always fighting. They were the first civilization in Mesopotamia. Then came the Akkadians who started Empire Mania. Akkadians long ago hungered, tumor took control. Sargon led his armies in their chariots. They roll by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. Near the Persian Gulf where they found ancient ruins underground. Archaeologists did lots of excavation down by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. King Sargon got real old, hope the sons take the throne. When the huge Akkadian empire would fall out of their control. Then King Hammurabi who would take full command. Hammurabi was the king of the Babylonians, man. Babylonia was the land where they told you obey Hammurabi's code. Praise Hammurabi's code. Break Hammurabi's code. And you'll be saying, oh no. Akkadians long ago conquered Sumer to control. Sargon led his armies in their chariots to roll by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. Near the Persian Gulf where they found ancient ruins underground. Archaeologists did lots of exploration down by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. Babylonians built roads, they traded grain for gold. They kept themselves united under Hammurabi's code. Hammurabi's code, Hammurabi's code, Hammurabi's code, Hammurabi's code, which was a bunch of laws they believed had no flaws. They obeyed just because they thought Hammurabi was chosen by the gods. Oh, chosen by the gods. Whoa! Akkadians long ago conquered Sumer to control. Sargon led his armies in their chariots. They roll by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River. Near the Persian Gulf where they found ancient ruins underground. Archaeologists did lots of excavation down by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River, by the Euphrates River.
It's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vassell.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Tigris and Euphrates. Now this is obviously not a new game. Came out, I believe, originally in 98 or 99. Tigris and Euphrates is a game by Rana Knizia. This is the new reprint of this game from Fantasy Flight. You've never heard of Tigris and Euphrates before? Well, I must say that if you haven't, you should certainly look into it. I believe it is the most unique game that he's ever designed, and there's very few games that are like it. It's very interesting. It's very combative. These temples that start in different spots on the board, each temple. Tigris and Euphrates. Dice Tower Judgment!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great...
We've got Tigris and Euphrates, which is rawly amazing. It's really amazing. You build great cities which then join with other cities, and then you have wars and leaders get killed and cities fall apart like Galac's great empire is now sort of in bits, but it's fine because you can host a rebellion, and gosh, this game is an exciting dynamic little puzzle with a walk past and say, ooh, what are you playing? And you can say, I'm playing Tigers and Pots, Mum. You had your choice to join in. Now get out of the shed.
Looking at these bright colours and chunky plastics, you might...
Eu sou o Davi Coelho e hoje vamos voltar para a antiga Mesopotâmia, que é vista como um dos berços da civilização. Lá, os primeiros assentamentos foram criados, fazendeiros se aproveitavam das águas dos rios para irrigar as terras e fazerem suas plantações. E Eufrates. Tigres e Eufrates é um jogo de 1997 que recebeu uma nova versão da Fantasy Flight em 2014. Ele é um jogo de 2 a 4 pessoas do designer Reiner Knizia. Esse vídeo foi uma sugestão do Daniel e do Elton, que deixaram o pedido aí nos comentários do Civilização. As peças vermelhas, certos do tabuleiro, edifícios e maravilhas, que você encontra no final do manual. Então, essas foram as regras do Tigres e
The Tigris and Euphrates in about 3 minutes. Review copy used. It is a game for 2 to 4 players. There is no solo mode. Playing time's around 90 minutes. It's a moderately complex game. One of the cradles of civilization was the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East. In particular, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian and Babylonian empires all rose and fell between the rivers. Will your monuments stand the test of time, or will your empire become a curious footnote in a Wikipedia entry? The game ends when the tile bag is empty or the second to last treasure is claimed from the board. The winner is the player with the most points. Competitive. Only one player can win this game. Tile placement. Placing tiles and leaders is the core of the game. Player turn. At the start of the game, take a screen, the 4 leader tokens with the matching symbol, 6 tiles at random from the bag, 2 calamity tokens, and 1 unification token. There are 4 types of tiles: farms, markets, settlements, and temples. And each player has 4 leaders: priests, kings, traders, and farmers. Note that players do not have a color in this game. On your turn, you take 2 actions. One action is to place a leader. Leaders can only be placed adjacent to a temple like so. You can also place tiles. Note that only blue tiles can be placed on the rivers. If you place a tile matching your leader type, collect 1 VP. A kingdom is a connected set of tiles, and multiple leaders from different players can coexist in the same kingdom, as long as they are different types. However, if the bull player placed a red tile into this kingdom, it's nice and weighty, and the tiles are good quality. The best thing about this game is you never feel like you're out of it. Even if you lose a lot in one turn, you can jump right back in and steal someone's kingdom from them. However, if you are someone who likes to build an empire in peace and slowly accumulate power in a game, this one will not be for you. Everything you build can be smashed or stolen from you. And the game requires some emotional resilience. I've heard some horror stories about playing this game with people who hate losing. If you like smashing empires but want something with more silliness, check out Small World. And for a more sedate game about placing networks, check out a more sedate game, Tigris and Euphrates. Flipping tables since 1997. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and check out
my playthrough. First time I've played it since...
شوف العالم دا يخدينا عالصار شقد متحملين معروف ولا وتارينا دول احنا ابناء النهرين دول احنا ابناء النهرين عالصعبات احنا نعديها تصبح بكرة نسولف فيها عالصعبات احنا نعديها تصبح بكرة نسولف فيها ما حد يقدر يتحدانا يا دنيا راح تشوفي انت الغالي ورفعت راسي يا رب تكون احلى واحلى اني وامي واهلي وناسي نرخص لعيونك يا دجلة انت الغالي ورفعت راسي يا رب تكون احلى واحلى انت الباقي الكل يروح تتشافى بمايك لجروح انت الباقي الكل يروح تتشافى بمايك لجروح عايش بينا روح بروح وحاضن ناسك بجربين شوف العالم حير بينا عالصار شقد متحملين معروف اولنا وتالينا دول احنا ابناء النهرين دول احنا ابناء النهرين
يا دجلة وصل سلامي من زاخل بغداد وللبصرة عمامي سير يا دجلة وصل سلامي